conference held by the graduate students in English and creative writing at Binghamton University. This is our 9th year running. Our 2006 conference was the 9th, and so we're looking forward to our 10th anniversary conference next year. We were seeking for a conference, for the creative writers that could be like an academics conference, where writers get together and share their ideas, share their work in a way that's, enjoyable for a profession that's pretty solitary.
Writing by degree is meaningful for me because it not only brings together graduate students from all over the country, but it also connects the non-academic and academic community. And I think that's one of the most beautiful things about this conference, is that it is bringing people together who love words. And even if they're not teaching at the university or a graduate student at the university, people from all over the region in this area come to hear the panels about writing, to hear the keynote speakers, and they can enjoy that too.
And so what the panelists will do when they're not reading their own work is they'll go and they can sit and they'll hear 3 or 4 people, 3 or 4 fiction writers, or 3 or 4 poets, or 3 or 4 non-fiction people read their work. And so then a discussion occurs after the panelists read. And since we're not in these massive rooms and big memorial centers or whatever, that it's a very laid back atmosphere. And so it doesn't become, I'm the panelist, I'm going to read my story, I'm going to stop, I'm going to let you ask me questions. But it becomes this dialogue and becomes this conversation of how did you get that idea? Why did you start writing that? What are you doing with that story now?
The Decker has a very personal feeling, and there's more intimacy, I think, with the audience at a reading like a reading for Writing by Degrees, where you're closer, maybe figuratively or literally, you're closer to that writer.
It's very easy in the academic world to get so either isolated to yourself or your department that you forget that there are other people out there. And it's really nice to come to a place where there are, 100 like-minded people all interested in writing, because face it, the other people we know are sick of hearing it.
Yes. Are you okay? I said, and let me pause here to note what a very expert writer of dialogue I am. Let me just repeat that. So you feel everything I put into the line. Are you okay? I amaze myself.
I call upon you, voice forbidden from the beginning, a sibylline spell to summon a god, that O-shaped flume descending into breath's dark furnace, to speak in cycles of the moon, desire thrusting upward through the hole that silence is, how the world was filled with one sound that splintered into the many selves we call a soul.
And you'll note that a lot of these refer to repetition and ways of creating repetition. And repetition is really important because the first time you hear a word in your head, I like to use the example of bear. What do you all see?
A grizzly?
Yeah. Normally you see a big fuzzy furry animal, but if you keep going bear, 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 bear,
Naked.
yeah, it evolves. It becomes naked. I mean, if you do it long enough, which I won't, you can get to bearing burdens. I mean, you go from the concrete to the more and more abstract. And so the more you pull on repetition, and of course you don't want to do this just to do it. You don't want to just hit people over the head with the same word for no reason. But if it's a really crucial concept, but yet you don't want to just zero in on the concept and sort of discourse upon it, this is the way of getting to the reader in that kind of wonderful sideways way.
It's a smaller conference, and all the writers do do craft talks. And so before they read, you get to hear their craft talk, and you get to see, like, really get to know them and know about their writing styles and know about how they work. And they talk about extremely different things. I know that Timothy Liu this last year talked about how to get a manuscript together. But even in that, you saw a lot of his personality, and then he got up and read, and you just learned so much about him, and you learned so much about poetry and about fiction and nonfiction that you can't learn just by reading it.
Thank you for watching. Eve Eisenberg, Sarah Klenbord, and Eve Rutherford, the co-directors of Writing by Degrees 2007, would like to invite you to the 10th anniversary of the conference, which will be held September 27th, 28th, and 29th, 2007 at Bundy Mansion, 129 Main Street in Binghamton. Chimamanda Adichie, author of Purple Hibiscus, will be our fiction keynote speaker. Vijay Seshadri, author of The Long Meadow, will be our poetry keynote speaker. And Joanne Beard, author of The Boys of My Youth, will be our creative nonfiction keynote speaker. See you at the conference!